Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Music Matters. How you doing? It's MonkeyBoy.
I'm Ziggy.
And today we are talking about our former employer.
Clear Channel
boss.
Radio. We're going to talk about Clear Channel Radio.
Or iHeart Media, as
iHeart
now.
Media. Okay. So, yeah, we were going to do this episode last year. We were going to have our friend do it, but we're tired of waiting on him.
Yeah.
No, that's not really the truth.
No.
It just seems to go kind of hand in hand with our previous episode on SoundScan.
They just really do tie the room together well, just like a big rug on the Big Lebowski. It ties the room together. So
It ties the room together. I think it'll be a really interesting episode. Again, it's another one kind of going behind the music.
Yep.
Things aren't ever as they appear.
No.
I'll just tell you that with everything.
Yeah.
Music, TV, whatever, the news especially.
Right.
Everything is so calculated and so planned out for us. Sometimes we don't realize it.
Right.
So this is another good episode where you can go, oh wow, that is the case.
Yeah.
I'm being manipulated.
Yeah.
There.
Yep.
But hey, before we do that, how about a quick game of overrated, underrated?
Okay. All right. Let's play overrated,
I'm not
underrated.
I'm not giving you any names ahead of time.
No, you just
Are they
you just basically
overrated?
came up with this idea about 10 seconds ago. So
Are they overrated, perfectly rated, or underrated?
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am.
Ed Sheeran.
Oh. I think he's perfectly rated right now.
Perfectly rated.
He's very popular.
Mm-hmm.
He has great music. I think he's not over saturated within the markets of pop. He is established in those, but as far as being over or underrated, I think he's right about where he needs to be.
Okay. Let's see. Beyonce. Overrated, perfectly rated, underrated?
Maybe the slightest bit overrated. Now, I'm not saying that she isn't talented. She is extremely talented. And I've seen her live. I've seen her do her thing. I know what she's all about. And she can deliver the goods when she's, out on tour, when she's singing. Her hits are huge. She had great success with Destiny's Child. However, I think she might have been one of those artists that iHeart Radio kind of decided that we need to listen to her.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I think we might have been manipulated into some of them. Not all of them, some of the hits. Not all
Okay.
of the hits. All the hits, some of them should definitely have been hits. But some of them...
Okay. I
So,
would agree.
I'd say a little overrated, but she is definitely justified in being, hailed as the queen or whatever, because she's amazing.
The Beatles.
Oh my god. Okay. They are overrated. However, they are the fathers of pretty much everything we hear today, in some way or form. So, it's hard to say that they're overrated, but I mean, everybody and their brother will say that they're influenced by the Beatles. You know? And for good reason.
In all genres of music.
In all genres. And for good reason. But some of those hits and some of those songs, they are really, really basic songs. Like, their lyrics aren't that deep. They're... some of the songs aren't that complicated. That's mostly earlier in their career. And later on in their career, they did get pretty deep and different and weird and kind of cool. But like the early I Want to Hold Your Hand and stuff like that, very basic.
Very basic.
But it was so basic and so easily digestible that everybody loved it.
Okay.
So I think they're a little overrated, but justified in their position as well.
Okay. Garth Brooks.
I think he's just right where he needs to be. He's extremely talented.
Mm-hmm.
His live shows are dynamic. He's had thousands of hits. I'm sure some of them were, like we're going to talk about, were, kind of manipulated that we would hear this song. But some of them are what would life be like without friends in low places, That's,
yeah.
I can't even imagine a world without that song. So I think he's right where he needs to be. He's very appreciated, and well-deserving.
Def Leppard.
Underrated. They have put out great music pretty much most of their career. Even like Slang that didn't get any, appreciation. I enjoyed Slang. I know you didn't enjoy Slang, but I enjoy Slang. It was a different take. They tried something different. It didn't work for a lot of people, but I still think that was a good effort. But their live shows are so great. Like, they still sound amazing today. They're, like we said in the last episode, they're in Vegas right now doing a residency, just releasing new material. They have always stayed, as far as hairband genre goes, at the top of the list. They are where if you're in a hairband, you aspire to be Def Leppard or Bon Jovi or, in that same conversation. And that I don't think the younger generation really appreciates Def Leppard as much as some of us old folks here.
Yes, but that's the case with all
but
music.
yeah, it's the way it is with all music. So I think they're a little underrated. Some of their songs I think could have been like bigger, especially the stuff in the late 90s, like Promises.
Great!
That was a great tune, but
I
really
liked the
did
early
not
90s stuff.
really did not do that well on the charts, but could have.
You did very good.
Well, thank you.
You did very good. So I need to put forth the disclaimer before we talk about today's episode.
Okay.
MonkeyBoy and I are both retired radio announcers.
I don't know. So
with a combined 40 years in radio.
Yeah.
We met working for Clear Channel Radio.
We met working for Radio Works.
For Radio Works, which was then bought by Clear Channel.
Yes.
In the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Clear Channel had a disaster on their hands. And retooled and reimagined and renamed, and it is known by iHeart Media.
Yes.
Now. I myself enjoyed working for iHeart Media. And you may have had a different experience.
Oh,
but
I loved every bit of it.
Oh, did you?
I mean, there were parts of the job that I hated, but they were the best working parts of my entire life. Like, working in radio, no matter if it's iHeart or not, is still working in radio.
Is so still working in radio.
You're still playing on.
The blessing of Clear Channel iHeart Media for you and I don't even need to ask you this. If we sit here and honestly think about our life, had we not worked there, we would not know and love the people that we know and love.
Agreed.
People like, our radio friends that we met. We would have never met these great men and women.
Yeah.
And their children, and be so deeply ingrained in all of them, and have them be deeply ingrained in us.
Yeah.
The salespeople that we worked with, the memories we made, the concerts we went to. It was my favorite period.
Mine too.
I think in my life. But the reality is, things are not as they seem. Our information is readily available out there for everyone to look up. It's ingrained in fact here that I have noticed as a music lover, as a fan of radio, that I'm only being fed a certain amount of music now.
Oh, for sure.
It honestly angers me. I can't do anything about it. I'm one guy. I can't call up these major radio corporations and say, hey, this ain't working for me. Stop doing it.
Right.
But I do know that even 15 years ago, beyond 15 years ago, I was hearing much more music on the radio. I'm not just talking about in rock. I'm talking about over on the country side, on the pop side.
Yep.
We were hearing a lot more music. We were maybe not so much more new music, but it was the older stuff. There was this large pool in radio, we call that recurrence. Songs that are a year or older, 5 years and older, 10 years and older. We were hearing a large variety.
Yeah.
iHeart Media and other companies, corporate radio, have manipulated that now, and what they hand us in the box is what we're given.
Yeah. I remember so many times. I can't even tell you how many times this happened. I was always the one who didn't want to follow the music log. You know the music log.
As was I.
The music log we'd get every day. And this was I'm going way back to before it was on computer. We'd get a paper log, and we would have the songs. We'd have to pull the records or CDs or whatever it was, and we would have to pick out all the music. It wasn't like it was our choice. These were the songs that were picked for us to play, and we just had to follow them. It sounds pretty easy, but what if you take a look at one of the CDs and it had other songs on there that weren't getting played, and I was like, oh, that's a good song, I should play that.
Well, I think for all of us that were, any of us that were DJs, radio announcers, even going back to the 50s and 60s, you had the power, man.
Yeah.
We were the ones pushing the buttons.
We could push the play. Yeah.
I'd be like, whoa, I like this song, and I'm going to play it.
And I would.
And just kind of a funny, side story about our friend Chopper.
Yeah.
Okay, we're working together at Z98. Yeah, we're all, we like to play our favorite songs, and we're allowed to do that. We were.
To a point.
And, this is, at a time when, you're taking requests. And I used to love to play this song from Kim Mitchell.
Go for a Soda?
Go for Soda.
Yeah.
Love
that song.
And some other things that maybe weren't highly popular. I play that Go for Soda, and Chopper might have been at lunch that day, come back, why do you play that song? That song was like got up to number 72 on the chart or something. But yeah, we were always able to play the song, and I hosted the All Request Planet Z there for quite a while, and yeah, that was my time to maybe play the harder of the hard rock at the time. I used to manipulate that playlist all the time, but you can't do that anymore.
No, the request shows were the best part because you could always if nobody was calling in, you could play whatever the heck you wanted because there was no music log for those hours. They actually let people request the songs, which was a rarity back, in the time,
Even then, they didn't know how much requests mattered.
Right, so they did give you a couple of suggestions that you should play.
Yeah.
I remember one time, and I had this happen many times. Especially Rob would always get on me, and I can understand. I get it because he was the program director. He had to keep it. Music logs need to be followed and all this, but that was kind of what we're going to be talking about. Is the way we're being manipulated is those songs are the ones that have to be played, and there's very few that you should be adjusting. Because you should be playing these, because these are the good tested songs. So you know that those work and get people to listen. Get it. But every once in a while, after playing that song for the 6th time in like 7 hours, I want to hear something different.
Right.
So I remember one time I threw on the Cutting Crew "One for the Mockingbird."
Oh,
which isn't even it wasn't a hit at all.
One.
It wasn't a hit very big at all. It was played on radio. I do remember it when I lived in Lansing and listening to Z93. I remember hearing that song. And I remember finding it on one of our hit discs, that was also being played that had a song I was supposed to play on it. And I accidentally played that song, and I was like, oh, that's great. How many seconds do you think it took for a phone call to come in and go, what the hell is this?
Right.
What the hell are you playing?
Yeah, I used to get that quite a bit.
All the time. Yeah. Oh, my God. We got all the time.
You know what the average music listener might understand. Again, the average music listener is someone that hits play on their streaming device or turns their radio on. Is an artist or even a demo singer. They'll write a song, turn in the demo to the label, because that's how they hear the music first is in a demo, and then they take it into this room with however many people, maybe 25 people, and they monitor the reaction to that song. That's how they test the song. Then they go, okay, well, I got a pretty good reaction. Go ahead and record that one. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then they'll bring a different 25 people in once there's, and that's how they test all these songs.
Right.
So iHeart Media, formerly known as Clear Channel, plays a central, often criticized role in the manipulation and homogenization.
Homogenization?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. I've just had a cup of coffee. Radio music through its massive centralized control over airwaves.
Did you know they have 860 plus stations reaching 9 out of 10 Americans every month? 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Yep.
That's enormous influence.
It is. It's enormous.
And a long history of criticism about how that influence is used because they seem to play the same songs. I mean, and this happened when we were there. The same groups, the same songs. They didn't deviate too often what we were playing, and that came from a lot of it came from the charts, but the charts, funny enough, were done by iHeartRadio. Mm-hmm. And so we were just going off of what iHeart told us to play. Mm-hmm. Now, interestingly enough, in 2025, the whole payola thing has been going on for years. We've known this, and it didn't reach our level. Like us DJs, we weren't getting pimped out for.
Oh, you're not going to talk about the truck they gave you?
Oh, I didn't get a truck.
Oh, okay.
Did you get a truck?
No, I didn't get a truck either.
I was going to say, son of a bitch. We did get concert tickets and some CDs and sometimes some meet and greets. Those were our perks, but honestly, those...
I got a DVD player and...
I never got a DVD. I got some books once.
Maybe some other things.
Yeah, I got some books once, but mostly it was like concert tickets, CDs, things of that nature. Nothing over $50 usually.
No, no. I mean, we got all the free CDs we wanted.
Yeah, we did. We got a lot of CDs. We got a lot of concerts.
Stickers, buttons. We got a lot of little merch bag type
meet and
stuff,
greet type things.
Yeah.
That was our perk, you know. But as far as payola goes, we didn't see a dime. We didn't see anything like that.
No.
So
Nothing.
just wanted to point that out. We were poor
but
radio
back in the
DJs.
day, they did.
But,
so
yeah.
So iHeart has this absolute ability to take a Friday and say we're going to break a song.
Yeah,
they played it.
They do it all the time.
They played at the top of the hour. I know
every hour.
Bruno Mars has a great song.
Yep.
That's now at the top of the charts. I don't know if it had its debut on iHeart or not.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
But you know, you're looking at 24 times in one day.
Yeah.
You know, and they can do that. They can take it from nothing to number one in a week by just spinning it that many times on a Friday.
Yeah. And the thing is, with the whole pay-for-play thing we were talking about, you know, in the early days, it was more just to get an artist to, you know, break and to play their music on the radio. Now, it's morphed. It's changed. And it's more like, well, we've got this festival coming up. So you guys are going to play the festival for free, or, you know, we're going to play you less, you know. If you do play our festival, we're not going to pay you, but we'll play the crap out of you on our radio. And we have 9 out of 10 Americans can hear a station of ours.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it's basically an exchange for favorable play, a potential violation of federal payola law. The FCC is investigating whether iHeart Media pressures musicians to perform without pay in exchange for favorable radio play. The FCC warned radio owners is cracking down on payola practices and question. Now, this I don't know if during the Trump administration this is happening or not. But the FCC warned radio owners it's cracking down, questioned whether iHeart was compelling artists to perform for free or reduced pay at its festivals for better airplay. And these investigations don't prove wrongdoing, but they show the federal government is taking the allegations seriously.
So, you know, I do know that we'll give kudos to iHeart. They've immediately cracked down on AI.
Yeah. Yes, they have.
They just, you know, recently came out.
Well, to a point. Like the music, for AI music, yes.
Right. Yeah, they're putting in place, you know, it's going to pick it up. Boom, it's going to be gone. We're not going to play that.
Right.
Because they know it's taken away from an actual artist.
Right. Well, iHeart gives its unprecedented control over what gets played on American radio. With over 860 plus stations and centralizing programming systems, the company can effectively determine what song gets national exposure, how often they're played, which genre receives priority. And this consolidation is a major reason critics argue that rock, metal, and other, you know, niche genres lost mainstream radio support. When one company controls so many stations, playlists tend to become safer, they become more predictable, more pop-leaning, and less regionally diverse. It's not illegal, but dramatically shapes the musical landscape and makes it so basically if you're listening in New York, you're going to hear the same stuff you hear in Iowa.
We do know, as former employees of iHeart and having traveled around the state, that I can listen to our former station Z98 here.
Yep.
And I can listen to the rock station up in Des Moines.
Yep.
And it's going to be the same songs.
Yep. Yep. And the
And
same DJs.
And the
Some
same
of 'em.
DJs. You know.
Yep. It's gonna
Again,
be very
people
cookie
can
cutter.
find all this information out. Where it's for me though. I don't know if this is the case for you, but that really does anger me.
Me
really,
too.
It really makes me sad. If the average music listener, we're not the average music listener, and many of our friends, I mean, are really deeply ingrained into music.
Right.
It's not just let me turn the radio on when
Right.
I drive to the drugstore and get my prescription. I would hope that the average music listener is aware that this is going on. Again, what can we do about it? I just know myself that this is not the way it used to be.
No.
And
there was locality. There was
locality when. Well, now I'll talk about our local radio market here, and
Okay.
I'll talk about the genres. If I listen to the local country station or the local country stations, they are not owned by iHeart Media.
no, those
here.
are not.
But still, to a degree, I don't hear what I used to hear on the radio. I don't hear as much of the older stuff. If we take country music as a whole, why am I not hearing George Strait on the radio today? The gentleman has 62 number one hits, multiple top 20s, great singer, legend and icon.
Right. Yep.
Has his time passed? I don't know. I'm just saying, why am I not hearing...
At least on like the classic country chart.
Why am I not... 90s was a great period for country radio.
Yeah.
Why am I not hearing more 90s? I'm hearing 2000s. I'm hearing 2015s, just stuff over the last 10 years. And that's what iHeart has done. It has taken away choice. It literally has the power to make or break something.
For sure. Yeah.
And I don't believe that is very fair. For an independent artist, you stand no chance.
Right.
We talked about K-pop a few episodes back. K-pop music is put together. These solo artists, these groups, male and female, are put together by a corporation. Again, fully intended to be marketed to you.
Yeah.
Everything is planned out for them, right?
For sure.
Okay, so let's take the K-pop. If K-pop becomes popular, how does it become popular? It becomes popular with the help of iHeart, because we're going to play these K-pop songs over and over and over and over again.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
We're already seeing a little bit of it. They played iHeart essentially is responsible for taking that golden song to the stratosphere. I mean,
Correct.
yeah, there was a movie and there's social media too.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of music, as we know, being discovered off of TikTok, a lot of artists, and maybe Instagram. But it's really iHeart that, I mean, I'm glad that there is a streaming device where I still have the choice.
Yes.
But there's still a problem there, because what iHeart uses is the same thing our streaming devices use, which is algorithms.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that creates a problem even for those of us that want the choice. Is if I listen to the same 15 playlists every week, that's all it's going to feed me is stuff I've listened
Stuff
to.
you've
It's
heard.
not,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you have the option on some streaming devices to hit a discovery button. It'll throw some new artists or bands in there, or anything, but I don't know why it needs to be so predictable.
Yeah.
I don't know what needs to be safer about it. Having choice in what you're hearing, how is that unsafe?
How is having flavor? You know, what I consider with MonkeyBoy Radio, I have your powers, just like you would with any radio station. Your power, your recurrent, your golds, but I also have a whole segment for flavor. And Flavor is a song that maybe it wasn't a hit, but I thought it was great. So I'm going to play it because it's my damn radio station.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that, but I think it adds just a little break from the, oh God, here's Boston again with the same fucking song. You know, they had 10 other fucking hits. Can you play one?
Yes.
Other than that?
Yeah. So you've seen that really a lot in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Where if I turn on Z98, Z98rocks.com, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, just some promotion. Lately, I've been hearing a lot of Linkin Park.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I love Linkin Park.
Could I hear a lot of something else, too?
Right. Or if you're going to play Linkin Park, maybe just more than, One Step Closer or that other song that they play.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play like two or three. And that's
to the safer thing, okay? And I'll just stick on rock radio. Whether you're playing classic rock or you're playing active rock or whatever, why do I hear Third Eye Blind Jumper on my rock station? Because that was not a rock song.
No, that was more of a pop song.
That was a pop song.
Yeah.
And there's some others like that where it's like, okay, great song.
Z98's still playing Eminem now.
Eminem, Everlast, What It's Like, I'm sorry, but that was never a rock song.
But it was on, it was, I would argue on that one. But I do see your point. But that song was originally played on, when we...
It was because...
it went to rock charts first.
It did.
So
but,
that one I can explain. But Eminem's Lose Yourself was never, ever, ever a rock song.
Jelly Roll Liar, I'm sorry, it's not and that's what iHeart does, is it fills up these spaces with things that, to me anyway, don't always fit, where you could be playing a different Boston song.
Right.
Or a different Aerosmith song, or you could, you could throw in a different Breaking Benjamin song than the other three.
Or you could play an unknown to give them exposure.
Or a newer band.
Yeah.
But yeah, they I would say a good 3 to 5% of every format controlled by iHeart is just some junk. They don't want to leave any dead space there.
Right.
They want to break the next thing.
Yep.
So another thing that iHeart does is they use data and analytics to select songs that evoke specific emotional responses or high engagement, reinforcing a formulaic sound in pop music. So, boy, you keep that energy.
Yeah, you got to. Yep. And it changes throughout the day, though, too. Like, you'll notice, boom, 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 morning. About 10, 11 o'clock, then you start to hear your ballads.
Which is something that's always gone on in radio, and it works. And it works.
Yeah, and it works. And I understand that. But yeah, you're being manipulated right like that as well. I think we should talk about the, not just the way that iHeart affects what we hear as far as music, but basically getting rid of local to a completely, generic cookie cutter form that goes through the entire country and even out into the world too. When I started at Radio Works, there was, if I remember right, on KG95 alone, because that's where I worked, they had, they had the morning show, that was 2 people. You had the midday show, you had the afternoon show, you had the night show, you had the overnight show, then you had the part-timers. So, and there were quite a few part-time. I would say there was at least 20 people working on just KG95.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that was close to the same on Z, although I don't think they had the overnight thing on Z98 when I came. So they had cut that part. Yeah, and then Radio Works sells to Clear Channel. And I remember this day vividly, and I don't know if you remember this day, but they brought us into a room at a hotel to play a video of what it was going to be like working for Clear Channel. And it had Sebastian Bach and other famous people talking about how great it is and like how you're going to love working here and all this stuff. What it didn't say is everybody in this room is going to be fired within 5 years.
Right.
And that's what they do. They went from 20 people when I started in 1999 to today, 1 person running 5 radio stations with a part-timer or 2.
Well, this is, it's not just iHeart guilty of that.
No.
We're talking a lot about iHeart, but there are other radio companies out there that own significant amounts of radio stations. Yep. There's another one out there that I think owns 250. That's a significant portion of the population. But that's part of the. Again, we're sticking on this issue just for the fact that iHeart has put us in a musical box.
Yes.
Well, but they've had issues. Chronic financial instability with substantial debt leading to massive ongoing layoffs and reduced local programming.
That's the biggest thing, is the reducing local programming. When you get rid of the DJs like myself and you and they
a long list of
our friends and they go to a national program that gets played everywhere, you lose that, because each one of us did it, that locality. We talked about what was going on in the city. We talked about the weather here that we talked about, and you'll get a little weather report. You know how long the weather report is on
it's about 15 seconds.
You got the intro too, so the actual report is about 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
Sunny sky today, 79, 69 tonight. Mm-hmm. Sunny sky tomorrow, 43. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the weather forecast.
Yeah. We have 3 local news stations here: ABC, CBS, NBC.
Yep.
And here, just a few years back, our local CBS affiliate decided we're going to get rid of our news department. We're going to take this national news program that's played on all over the country.
Yep.
And when there's a snowstorm, when there's a big rain event coming, and I look over, I log on to our NBC affiliate, ABC, for the weather, and I go over to CBS and I go, ooh, that really looks bad.
Yeah.
That really looks bad.
It does.
I mean, you don't have anyone to hop
cover
on
that.
To cover that. You don't. We lost locally a source for information of places to go to have fun, and
When you lose the DJs and the anchors and the local people, you lose the touch with the community. You between me and you and all of our friends, we all played songs that we wanted to hear and that you wanted to hear when you called in. A lot of times we could get in trouble just for playing those songs.
Yeah.
Like if they called in and wanted to hear a song that I couldn't play before 10 p.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever, and I played it, oh, you bet I got a talking to.
Mm.
I almost got fired for playing a Chevelle song followed by a Five Finger Death Punch song in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Both hits, both, requests, but, that's not what radio is about. It's not about catering to your listeners. It's about giving them what corporate wants them to get. And
it's about now. It's gone from when I started in radio, it was you get on the air, you have the most fun you can have.
Absolutely.
For the listeners.
Yes.
For the person sitting in the cubicle, for the person working at the factory, for the person, dropping an engine, at the local Chevy dealership.
You were entertaining.
You entertained. You promoted very heavily the music that was coming up because that's why they were listening and local things. But now, what the radio market is about is advertising. It's the advertising dollars.
And don't get me wrong, advertising was always about what it was to an extent. It's always been there. But it was more, hey, make sure to get that break in before 2:00, rather than you need to talk about this and you need to talk about that. And we don't have time to maybe hit that local spot today about somebody having a sale because they didn't buy advertising with us, so why were you going to talk about that? Mm-hmm. Things like that.
Well, they've had lawsuits over deceptive advertising, accusation of a poor corporate culture. Despite a high digital audience, the company has faced and continues to face major financial pressures, including net losses and declining or at best stagnant revenue in their traditional radio segments.
Yeah.
Because again, when everything sounds the same, I don't know how that helps growth. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't understand
it at all. If I walk into, let's say, Five Below, have you ever been to a Five Below store?
Yep.
Okay, if everything's the same in there every time, why would I go back there a second time?
It's a good question. Well, only if you know you need something and it's $5 or less.
I know, but if you're not going to change it and change up the colors and...
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's the same thing.
Yep.
We talked about the loss of... the local market, weather. People want to know where to go to have fun. They want to know about the tragic event that's happened. And,
right.
And you don't
they
get
want
that
to get
break
the local
anymore.
taste of what people are thinking. And
Can you imagine now? When was the bad flood here? We're on the border of South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska.
There was a couple of them, but I think it was like 2011 or
2011, and we had a bad flood here.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Wouldn't even get covered. Wouldn't even be. You wouldn't even hear about it.
No.
Now, and that's one of the bad things about losing local. You just lose the heart of what's going on because your core listeners lose that sense of what's going on locally, like the whole community. Basically, when you listen to radio before all this, we talked about what's going on in the community and get people excited about, oh, there's a concert coming to Tyson Event Center, or there's a concert coming to the Hard Rock, or but now unless you're getting paid to, or unless they're paying for us to promote it, we don't talk about any of that at all.
No. No, it's, and I mean, the legal issues are out there. You and I are not the only one that, wants to harp about the repetitive content. It's not just listeners, but other observers in the industry.
Right.
That maybe don't like that model. We're not bashing radio because if you want to look at the streaming versus radio, more people are still listening to the radio than are streaming music on whatever platform it is. Radio is
still a very valid,
very powerful tool for advertisers.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't know that the one-stop shop.
It's all the same, and you can listen every single day. It's going to sound exactly the same every day. There's no change. Like the most change you get is when they release a new song, and it'll get added to the same songs that you hear all the time, and then and it's just like that all the time.
Well, let's take this global girl group that you've heard me talk about before, Cat's Eye.
Yep.
Okay, this is a girl group put together by that YG Geffen thing. They're following the K-pop model of breaking artists. So let's just imagine it's the 1990s and you have these 5 girls in Cat's Eye and they're learning to dance in their garage. They're learning to sing in their garage. Okay. They would not be popular. But because of iHeart, you can take that song and you can just pound it down someone's throat, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
And
as long as somebody's, paying them to play it or, influencing the company to get behind that song,
iHeart is a good example now, and these other radio conglomerates, of just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good.
Right, yeah, for sure. So, we talked a lot about how iHeart affects what you hear, but iHeart also has a lot of effect on what you see as well, because I don't know if you know this, but even though there's technically separate companies, iHeartMedia and Live Nation operate in a way that makes them feel like two halves of the same machine. Their partnership is deep, strategic, and massively influential. First off, iHeart and Live Nation have had a formal promotional relationship for years. This was even back when we were still in radio.
Clear Channel, I remember, used to do events too.
Yeah. So it's the same company, Clear Channel as iHeart. So they co-branded tours. They cross-promotion of concerts on iHeart stations. Live Nation artists performing at iHeart festivals. iHeart personalities hosting or promoting Live Nation events. This partnership gives Live Nation huge advertising reach, and it gives iHeart exclusive access to major artists. Now, things that you might see that they do is iHeartRadio's Music Festival, the iHeartRadio Jingle Ball Tour, the iHeartRadio Alter Ego, iHeart Country Festival, all heavily intertwined with Live Nation's touring infrastructure. Live Nation often handles the venue booking, the production, the ticketing via Ticketmaster, which is a whole other thing, and logistics and artist coordination. This means who want to stay in Live Nation's good graces often end up performing at iHeart events, sometimes for reduced pay, which is exactly what triggered the FCC's 2025 investigation. They shouldn't have to take reduced pay. They should get paid what they're worth.
So this goes back to, I think we talked about this before, but did we talk about Ticketmaster last year?
We were going to. I don't think we did.
Maybe that's another one. Okay, so let's just take Live Nation. And there's a lawsuit, Live Nation, Ticketmaster, government's looking into them too.
Yep.
Live Nation is a big thing.
For sure.
You can read about it. You can look up Live Nation. They own venues.
Yeah.
Okay. They formulated management companies that sign artists.
Yep.
That are going to play at those venues. They're invested in record labels.
Yep.
That sign those artists.
Then you add the partnership between iHeart and look,
iHeart,
they're getting played on the iHeart radio
stations selling Ticketmaster tickets.
Yep.
It's a truly behind the music episode here of complete and total manipulation by literally 3 corporations are controlling
everything
in the music business.
Yeah.
Controlling everything in the music business.
Yep, everything.
So just because you hear Shabuzi on the radio doesn't mean he's good. It's just that iHeart has decided we're going to play Shabuzi all the time, or we're going to play Teddy Swims all the time, or whatever.
Yeah, and the big thing with this is that the controversy is because iHeart controls all these massive radio exposure and Live Nation controls the biggest tours and venues, artists often feel like they can't say no. If you want radio spins, you want a festival slot, you want prime touring routing, you want Ticketmaster promotion, playlist support on iHeart digital platforms, you're incentivized to play ball with both companies. This is why the FCC is investigating whether artists were being pressured to perform for free or reduced pay at iHeart events in exchange for better airplay. Together, they shape what the public sees and hears. iHeart influences what songs get played, what artists get exposed, what genres get prioritized. Live Nation influences who gets booked, who gets opening slots, who gets festival placements, who gets the biggest market push, and when you combine those forces, you get a system where pop and mainstream acts thrive, rock and niche genres struggle, and new artists often need corporate backing to break through. It's a huge reason why rock lost mainstream visibility, not because the music got worse, but because the infrastructure shifted toward pop-friendly, brand-friendly acts.
Yeah, so just because you're not hearing that country is popular doesn't mean it's not popular. It's just someone's telling you that it's not. It's like There's been this debate. This wasn't necessarily a conversation about rock music, but, it indicates that that's one that's been
manipulated.
Yeah, that this process has been detrimental to rock music.
Yep.
But, it's... you're just going to be fed whatever they want to feed you.
Right. And, even without being one company, iHeart and Live Nation form that feedback loop. Live Nation promotes tours, and iHeart Radio promotes them on the air. iHeart Radio pushes artists, Live Nation books them for festivals. Artists play iHeart events, Live Nation gets the ticketing revenue. Live Nation tours get radio support, iHeart gets advertising money. It's a mutually beneficial cycle that leaves very little room for independent radio, independent promoters, or rock bands that don't fit the corporate mold.
Right.
Or any corporate
any
genre.
Any musician.
Yeah. If you don't fit that corporate, if they don't think that you'll fit their thing of what rock or country or pop or, anything else is, no, we don't have room for you. Go get on TikTok or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that we made people aware of this. We've always been aware, but
yeah.
But it's nice to know that, again, if you want to really know what's out there, get on TikTok, get on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, whatever it is, wherever you get your music, and if you think your favorite artist, look them up because there's probably something new out.
Yeah.
Or, you and I and several other people were sharing new bands and music
all the time. I do that on
and I know of a lot of a handful of new country artists, rock bands, metal bands, pop artists that I go, why are they not on the radio? Well, this is why.
And I'm lucky enough to go, man, why aren't they on the radio? I'll tell you what, I'm going to put them on the radio.
Well, because you have,
MonkeyBoy Radio. I
MonkeyBoy
do
Radio.
that. A perfect example would be a new band that I just added this week, Dead Ponies, or Dead Pony.
Yes.
Found the song, absolutely loved it. It's and you're gonna hear it on the radio, on MonkeyBoy Radio, but that just got added because I liked it. It's not on the charts. You can't find it anywhere on like any of the charts.
Well, in the early '90s, in the 1980s and the 1970s, in radio, you every Monday you went to the music director's office.
Yep, that was my favorite part.
The
music meetings.
Yeah, the music meetings. And I was a music director for a country station up in Marshalltown, and my assistant music director was Doris, and we grabbed our coffee on Monday, and we went in, and the mail would come, and it would be the CDs. You'd just sit there and open it and put it in and play, and what do you think? And you had 6 songs that had fallen off the chart, so you needed to add 6 songs this week. You sat there, you listened to them.
Yeah.
And
you decided which ones you were going to add?
Yeah,
which ones
it might be someone might be someone brand new. We were looking at, data information, to help us add that, what really got the most spins. But, you might have 1 or 2 where you could go, okay, well, we'll give this a few spins.
Yeah, even though it's not...
Now, no. Not at all. I mean, there is one music director probably for iHeart and these other, and they're like, well...
I remember the days of having, when you were music director and you'd have, people calling you up like Heavy Lenny.
Heavy Lenny.
You remember Heavy Lenny?
Oh yeah.
He was great.
You got record.
I still get a card. I still
calling.
get an email card for every birthday and anniversary from him on Facebook all the time, and I haven't talked to the guy for probably 10 years. But that was always fun because hearing from the record reps, they'd be all excited about this artist or that artist, but there was your big reps, but they also had the smaller reps where it wasn't the stuff you're going to find on hitting the charts right away. This is stuff that it took a lot to get them to break through. That was Heavy Lenny.
You had every record rep, big label or small label calling you back then.
Yeah.
But none of that's going on now.
No.
It's here's what we're selling you.
Yep, here's what you get, and this is
it was fun. We can't do anything about it, MonkeyBoy.
I know. Well, I can, but I need everybody to listen to MonkeyBoyRadio.com for that to make any kind of a difference. But I do it for fun.
MonkeyBoyRadio.com?
Yeah, MonkeyBoyRadio.com is where you can find. You will hear all those hits that you're probably tired of hearing. But you'll also hear other stuff that you're not gonna...
It's not about... Let me make that point clear, too, about me. It's not about hearing the hits over and over.
It's just less of it.
It's about hearing more variety of a new influx of stuff from time to time. Again, not everything that you think is good to me.
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of it.
It's all subjective.
Yep.
But in reality, it's probably good that there are music directors and program directors somewhere, because
for sure,
I have a few friends I wouldn't put in charge of a radio station.
No, yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, they'd play some awful stuff.
It'd be really bad.
It'd be bad.
But anyway, yes, we've had fun talking about this.
We did.
Let me just also say that working for iHeart, even though they are a terrible corporation around business, that they have some bad things going on, the time I was in there was the best time of my life.
It was a great time. It was a great time for me,
and friendships I've made, and experiences.
We still have friends that work for iHeart. We're just talking the facts here, and this is really about the music manipulation.
Yeah. And Yeah, and the loss of locality.
And the loss of locality, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be there.
Needs to be there. They need to take a look at bringing back it, somehow bringing localization to iHeart in a way. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to man the station with 20 people anymore, but maybe 3.
Yeah.
Where they can have the morning, the afternoon, and night be covered by local people to give local
Well,
information.
I think it's really again, as we discussed, not everyone lives in the big city.
It's true.
You've got the suburbs, you've got the rural areas, and they're not always aware of that. Maybe that snow coming or that storm coming.
Yeah.
Or
like emergency services, that was a key thing about radio. Like when we had to cover, I know many a time where I had to stop being a DJ and having fun and being a reporter and cover the weather
and stuff like that. Yeah,
I remember 9/11.
9/11,
where we had to completely cut music entirely and become a news source for days.
Yeah.
And days. It was like 5 days where we didn't play a single solitary song.
No,
it was just news. So yeah, that's the power of radio and what it can do. Like if an emergency happens, they're there for you, or they were there for you. But now there's really nothing.
Yeah, it's we'll discuss Ticketmaster here down the road, but it's a monopoly. This,
Yep.
It's
a duopoly.
Well, this is called a duopoly, but it's always smelled fishy. It's fishy.
Yep, it is.
There may be a lot more here that we don't know, but it just seems I don't like being manipulated by anything, especially music, man. I want freedom of choice.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's revolt.
All right, MonkeyBoyRadio.com is where you can revolt and listen to newer stuff and older stuff, and stuff you're not going to hear on regular radio.
But you can hear the podcast on Spotify,
and you can hear it on YouTube,
Apple Music,
Amazon Music.
I'm sorry, Amazon Music.
Amazon Music.
Yeah, Amazon
and
Music.
Facebook, and eventually I'll get to TikTok. I'll figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
But that isn't TikTok where you can only have like 2 or 3 minutes.
I don't
either. That's what I got to figure out.
I just put my feet on them. People pay to see it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's how you make your money.
Oh wait, no, that's OnlyFans.
That's OnlyFans.
Okay.
All right. With that, we're gonna call it an episode. I've been Monkey Boy.
I'll always be Ziggy. Thanks for listening.
Talk to you next time.